So this happened before you actually got here, just this very day.
Okay.
All right. So George happened to arrive in and amongst all the chaos, but cleaning out spare bedroom in the house, left outside with a free sticker on a desk and a chair because I didn't want it anymore.
Fair enough.
As soon as we left it out there, I walk inside and we're ready to post on like the local community page, like, oh, come claim free, whatever. Before we even hit send, so literally 5 minutes, this thing's out there. This old, what looked like, I don't know what culture, but this old lady, maybe could have been Greek, could have been like Lebanese or something like that, is already with her forward drive shoving the stuff in her car, right?
Oh.
And she couldn't get the desk in because it was too big. So she knocked on the door and asked me if I could please drag the desk back onto my property so that no one else takes it. She disappears, and then half an hour later, when George got here, she's
like
arrived
the
with
muscles here, Tom.
empty car. So me and George are just loading this lady's car with a desk that was literally on the nature strip for like 5 minutes. I'm not even exaggerating, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So tell you what, you never know what you're gonna find driving around.
People are willing to take things away from you. You know,
Yeah.
give them a different story, but you put something for free.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, so footy,
Back to the footy.
footy podcast, by the
She
way.
even she blessed us. You know.
Oh, really? Oh,
She
you
gave
know
us
what?
a God bless
That's
you.
nice. That is
She
quite
said,
nice.
"Let you live to 100." She said, "You know, may you have kids forever." She gave us all these things.
Was this
she?
in English or like?
It's almost like she was ready to drive. She was on her way to Officeworks for a desk and chair, and then she just saw like a sign that said free, and we've just made her whole week.
There's even
There
like
you
brake
go.
marks, skid marks all along the road because she just brakes too quickly. So
Whoa, there you go. So she was like,
So if you ever don't want something in your house, just leave it in front of my house, and it'll just disappear in 5 minutes.
there you go, an old lady will come
leave
out.
some like Turkish delight on top or something, and they'll come. And go.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So footy's almost wrapped up this week. We're still not learnt our lesson in recording after the final game of the round, but this time we're not going to be as mean to the team playing.
No, we will be. It's West Coast. They're gonna lose. Let's be honest.
We'll get to it.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna have to steal your phone a few times so I can check the Supercoach scores. By the way,
Oh yeah, we'll do live Supercoach updates.
Done.
get fan footy up there, mate. Come on.
I just wanted to do a very, very quick, describe how you feel about the new Tasmania team, colours, badge in 3 words or less.
Colors good, logo solid, the actual jersey bad. That's all.
It's a bit more than 3 words, but okay, that'll do.
Look, but per topic, it's one word.
No, you're good.
Good, solid, bad.
What
So it
about-
was good colours.
Yeah.
What do you say about
colours.
the logo? Jersey bad, logo good,
Logo solid?
solid.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's a bit. I feel like it's very American sports. You know what I mean? But it's solid. Like it looks good. But I can imagine that being an NFL team more than an AFL team.
Well, it is their traditional jersey, isn't it?
Is it?
I think it's the traditional jersey, so
Yeah, well,
that's why it looks like a
traditional-
VFL team.
the traditional jersey is bad, to be honest. So, anyways, sorry to disrespect Tasmanians, but
No,
it's
it's
just, it is what it is.
George, what do you
Well,
reckon?
yeah, I like the colours, but I thought that the logo looked alright. And then I realised that the logo was the Tasmania, not the devil.
Well,
No, I thought the devil was the
team
logo.
logo, as we'll see it say on the ladder, is
Yeah.
the devil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the jersey
jersey's bad.
is the Tassie.
And that's what I'm saying. The jersey's bad.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I
yeah.
think
that
they're
is
going to make
bad.
another one. They will need another one.
Mm.
I'm hoping it'll just have the logo on the jersey instead
Yeah.
of the T and the,
Yeah,
and the map of
100%, man.
Tassie. Yeah, I'm same. Similar. I like the colours, name, top, But the funniest thing, did you watch the actual unveiling presentation?
Nah, I'm not that
The
interested.
guy, all right, so they got 3 kids, they look like all under 18, modeling the new kit. And there's little girls, they're cute, whatever. And then this guy's on, no disrespect, but he's there. He didn't want to be there. He's ready to walk off as soon as they clapped. He's walking off and he's wearing Collingwood shorts.
Oh, is it the blonde?
Oh,
the
bro,
older blonde
come on,
dude?
man.
Yeah.
You're there to model your Tassie kit and you're wearing the pie shorts. Come on, man.
Yeah,
They shouldn't have allowed him on, to be honest.
It
with
didn't
you.
look like a very fun event.
And
But
why
yeah.
didn't they have shorts?
True.
No
Like,
one's
I know
asking
we
this.
can organize a whole team, make a logo, but shorts, nah.
Just make green shorts. They
hard.
didn't need to even be flashy with the logos or anything. Just
Yeah.
green shorts. Come on.
Or even white shorts,
White shorts.
because every team wears white shorts.
Yellow
these days,
shorts.
you know
I
what
would have thought white shorts makes more sense.
Whatever it is, man.
Yeah,
Just
the green and the
not
white.
Collingwood.
look
We
alright.
can agree not Collingwood shorts is probably the way to go.
I agree.
Unless
I
they
do
were
agree.
like the VFL team was like the Tasmanian prison bars or something like that. Now.
But
We
Eddie
don't know their
Maguire's
history.
Eddie Maguire's
Do we
ready
have
to
to go
sue.
this? Do we have to go through this again now?
Eddie's ready to sue, man.
All right.
Okay, that's enough
Yeah.
about that. Do you want to talk umpiring and the ball technology now or a bit later?
Just get it over and done with,
We'll
man.
talk about it. We'll talk about
All
it.
right.
'cause
So this is courtesy of good friend of the pod, Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, he sent us a bit of fan mail asking to give our opinion on the new technology they're putting in the balls. That apparently, as I was reading earlier, it'll tell you exactly where the ball's located on the field, like what speed it travels at, how far it travels, and so on. So the question from Chris was, is this going to fix the goal line issues or just general umpiring problems that have to do with...
No,
Nah, look,
I don't think so.
look, I'm going to say depends, right? So is it going to be actually good technology? Are they actually going to properly invest? Is it going to be like soccer goal line technology type thing where as soon as the ball crosses the line, the umpires watch buzzers to say that it's a goal?
Well,
Is it to that extent?
I don't think so, because that goal line technology in soccer is not in the ball. I think
Oh.
that's... Is it? I think that's actually just
I don't
looking at the
know.
line. If it's in the ball, then yes, I think it will help.
Yeah, if it's that type of thing where it's, you get that type of information, because then you could use it all around the ground as well. You know what I mean? Does it cross the line, on the side, on the,
Boundary, which has
on the
been an
boundary.
issue this week. My
Big
God.
time, man, big time. So, look, if it's that good a technology, then yeah, it'll help, but like, probably not.
What
it
I-
probably won't be that good.
I don't think that the ball crossing the line is the biggest issue umpires have. So I think it can. Obviously, we've seen some issues this weekend and even last weekend with like being over the line. Like the Jack Higgins one was hilarious, and there was a Sydney player. I can't remember which Sydney player was Sydney. It was the Essendon. Kyle Langford was over the boundary, like massively over. Like I can't believe they let that one go. So and the weekend before there was those issues. Fine, maybe that helps that one. But does that mean that they're going to recall the decision? Because we don't even need technology to tell us it's over the line. You can just look at the replay. So what's the impact of the technology? Does that mean that now that you got the technology, you're going to put in steps to walk back the decision? And the other thing is, all right, maybe if the technology shows how far the footy has travelled, then that might eliminate the 15-metre passes that aren't 15-metre passes. But then how quickly does that information feed back to the umpire so that it's not just like, oh, I know 3 kicks ago that wasn't 15 metres, bring it back. No one wants interruptions. I don't think the problem with the umpiring is the technology. I think it's the fact that the game's too complicated and all that stuff in and under is where the real issue is, not whether the score review takes a bit of time, I think. So
Yeah, they're good points.
there's a lot more issues than just having some tech in the ball that helps you check
And-
it's over the line.
And the issue is currently as well, like me and Matzo were at the North game the other day, and in the last quarter, we're down 3 goals, and there was a ball that we had kicked in the forward line. Actually, sorry, Freo had kicked across their own goal that landed sort of half bounced boundary post and then ground. And none of the 3 umpires saw if that hit out on the full first or if it bounced and then hit the post. Obviously, one being our free and one not. And they all 3 just huddled up while the crowd is looking, saying, "Oh, hey, that was out of
Because
the full."
they probably can't use the replay
They're not
as
allowed.
evidence.
But here's the problem. That's exactly what you're saying is like, what's this technology going to do that they couldn't just look up and see if it's that obvious? Like, they're already huddling and deciding. Just give us a look and see what everyone else is seeing.
More technology, I think,
So-
has the ability to make it even more complicated and even more stop-start.
Yeah.
But they do need some sort of... If we start going down the line, we talked about it last week, if we start going down the line of reviewing every decision, whether it's high, whether it's holding the ball, whether it's that, and they're reflecting on every decision and they're using technology in every decision, there's not a football game anymore.
I do think if the ball's in or out of play, if they can make that super simple with the technology in the ball, I think that's
Like
actually good.
Buzz the watch like it does in soccer.
And that's easier
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
ball's already had gone out for a goal or potential behind. It's already gone out for a throw in. The game's already kind of stopped. So if you can quickly just say to the umpire, like, hey, that was actually out or in, I don't think that's as bad. But the 15-meter kicks, forget about it. It'll never get that good to
Yeah.
play that so quickly. It'll slow down the
What
game
about
too
all
much.
the other stuff, though? Like, I know that it's racing in our head with the boundary stuff, but I feel like reflecting on the footy I've watched over my life, I don't think that's a scenario that comes up that often over the boundary.
That's a fair call.
No, but it's happened twice in 2 weeks leading to goal. So
And it has.
I don't know if they're just not paying it anymore. Like you said, they're not trusting themselves to make the call. So like,
Yeah. Or do we
What
have
do you
to
do?
actually acknowledge the elephant in the room that the umpiring is bad and it's bad training and it's bad umpires themselves and they have to take responsibility, which they never do.
and here's the thing though, especially with the couple that we're referencing where we know that the ball went on the boundary line out and we can all see it. Because of the rule being the whole ball needs to go over, I think umpires aren't willing to call it, even if it does look over, because technically maybe it was like
Yeah.
this much in,
Yeah,
and
but
it's like,
that's-
but no one sees that with the naked eye. Like if it looks more out than in, you got to just pay that. I think they're overcomplicating it. They're trying to play way too much by the rule and just over umpiring.
And there's probably not the technology. There's no technology at the moment that'll prove to, apart from the cameras, that'll prove that it wasn't out. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to see that, the tennis style challenge thing. We're not getting that. By the
and for
looks
all
of
we
it.
know, maybe the ball was in by like a millimeter, but like no one cares about that.
Nah,
And no one on the team who scored the goal cares if you call that out because they can all see it. They can't argue it.
That's right. That's
So-
right. If it's like 90% obvious that it's out,
Yeah.
and I did say that those scenarios don't come up that often, but if there is, that is the type of decision that can lead to goals because it's one of those ones where some players stop because they think it's out, and then they keep going, and then suddenly there's spare plays everywhere.
Yeah. It is quite staggering, man. I mean, even just being at my first game in a while on the weekend with Matzo, it's like you're seeing these ruck contests going both ways. It's not even a North thing. It's just at times you'll see Tristan Jerry clearly do something that just doesn't look right against Jackson, stopping him from jumping it or something, and it's not paid. And then maybe later on, Jackson will like jump and almost like put his foot through him, and you're thinking, well, how is that allowed? But then they don't get called. Then other times it's like the most niggly little free in the ruck contest. Like, I don't think anyone knows what's going on anymore.
Well, what about
to
the
be
holding
honest
the
with you.
ball, man? Like,
It's
what
dead.
is-
It's gone. It's gone.
You can do anything you want. You can make love to the ball for like 5 minutes and still not get holding the ball.
The problem with that one, and again, seeing it up close, it was like, what is going on here is that there's times when a player picks up the ball and just because they don't have prior, they're allowed to get tackled and not drop the ball and not dispose of it correctly,
Yeah.
which is essentially telling me if I'm a player, I pick up the ball, I start facing my teammate, happily get tackled and just drop it in their vicinity and off you go. That's not disposing the ball correctly, in my opinion. So
and it's a rule that the holding the ball rule is one of the best rules in footy. It's what makes the game unique.
I agree.
Getting rid of it is something that no one asked for. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I'd rather there be more holding the ball calls than most other calls, to be honest with you. Like some of the calls that get made, the niggly ones in the ruck, those ones, you can get rid of those. You can probably get rid of some of the, when the forward and the defender are, tussling.
Yeah.
Those, we don't care about those. But the holding the ball, pay those. That's
Yeah.
part of the fun of the game. We want to be at the footy and go, ball, and
Yeah.
then go, when everyone,
Well, it also encourages tackling pressure as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the point of tackling someone if you don't get rewarded for
I
it?
think they messed it up when they started saying you need prior opportunity and they went in on that. So then for me, that says, okay, you pick up the ball. If you don't have prior, that means that even if you get tackled and drop it, you didn't have prior.
No, but then it's incorrect disposal.
Correct. So that's where I think they're weighing like 80% into did they have prior and 20% into the actual disposal of the ball, which is wrong in my opinion. Try and call it more like 50-50. Or at best, like the player, if he's being tackled and throws or lets it go, I think that's the player's fault. Hold it in. If you didn't have prior, you won't be pinned. And it's a ball up, So it's really crazy, to be honest with you. Like, it's crazy to me, especially when the players are confused. That's when you know something's wrong. Because when the players are looking around not knowing what's going on, then the umpires are just gone rogue, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing for the players. It's embarrassing for the umpiring. It's just not a good look on the game. Not a good look on the game at all.
I think it ruins the vibe a bit. But anyway, better that we just got that out of the way. Now we can talk a bit of footy, I reckon.
Yeah. Now the enjoyer.
Who
part
wants
of
to
the,
Who wants to laugh at Collingwood
of the pod.
first?
Pick me, please.
Go ahead, George.
They suck. No, look, I think it probably. We said it wasn't panic stations last week. It's probably still not panic stations, but you're starting to really question what's going on because these guys won the flag. Now they just lost to 3 top 8 teams. So they are top 8 teams, and GWS and Sydney look unbelievable, and Saints are decent. So they're not losing to North or West Coast, but if they aren't capable of beating these teams, it means that they're not a top 4 team at least, or not playing like it. And it does seem like a lot of their players are just off. And the media is recording that and showing examples of Collingwood players messing up stuff that they normally would mess up. Pendlebury fumbling for the first time in his career. DeGoey not having an impact. Even Dacos had a bad game. Darcy Moore doing some questionable things. So they're off for some reason. And teams that are putting a lot of pressure on are kind of making them fumble. So it's good to see.
100%. No, it is great to see.
Well, on that note of the underperforming players, so the Supercoach scores, I'm not going to include the subbed player or this the actual sub himself, but bottom from there on, side bottom, DeGoey, Mitchell, Howe, Dacos, Elliott. And I'll stop at that point because that's enough of a point.
And they all got less than Bonner, who also sucked.
Yes,
For
exactly.
Supercoach and for people who picked him.
Exactly. But
Maybe
geez,
me.
like that's game winner in Elliott, for example. Dacos, we know how good he is. Windhager did a number on him. And then you've got Mitchell, DeGoey, side bottom. Like these guys are the ones that are the most reliable usually on your team. In terms of at least getting their hands on the ball and dictating play a bit. So they're massively underperforming. It's kind of hilarious.
Well, I think if their midfield can't get firing, then they're going to get smashed, I think, this year. But, I think someone like Pendlebury inside bottom, eventually they have to stop. And this might be the year, right? They were great last year. It resulted in a flag, but I think maybe that's the year where they slow down. It has to happen eventually. It's not a criticism on those players specifically. But Dacos would be fine. DeGoey just needs to find some form. Tom Mitchell needs to find some form. I just think it's a form slump for these players. It's hard for us to know whether their pressure is there, whether their mentality's in it, whether they're really motivated. We don't know. But I think they're reliant on a couple of really dominant performances from players like DeGoey and Dacos in the midfield specifically. And if they can't get their rhythm going, then I think other midfields are going to expose them. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, look, there's young guys waiting in the wings ready to get proper game time like Finn McRae. So maybe it's his chance over a Steele or over a Pendles. Maybe not Pendles, but, I don't know. Do they have to make that type of call at some point? I don't think you wouldn't think Tom Mitchell would be finished by now.
Nah.
It's not finished, but it's just not good enough to potentially win another premiership.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. They're not top 4 team at the moment. That doesn't mean it's so early in the season, but they've just lost to 2 to 3 finalists.
And you would know more than anyone. Like Carlton started the season, obviously not 0-3, but a bit indifferent in their form at least. And you know how quick it can turn around.
What we're saying is it's not like we're not going to pretend like they're not going to be a chance for the finals because they've lost 3 games, but they're clearly not playing the same level that they were last year. So.
Yeah. And we've got to acknowledge St Kilda
100%.
well onto this game because, one steal wasn't very good for Collingwood, but another steal, Jackie Steele is back.
Some would say he's a top 5 mid over the last 3 years.
Look, definitely not over the last 3 years, right? But he was like a top 3, top 4 mid at one point. Like what, 4 or 5 years ago? I'll say. It's been a while.
Even less. When was the Walsh nearly winning the Brownlow? What year was that? 2021.
Yeah.
Still polled really high in the Brownlow that year. 26 or 27 votes. So.
Yeah, he's a gun, right? As you and as the two of us acknowledge, Georgie. Dino, not so much.
Dean doesn't like him because he's too handsome. That's why.
Exactly. It's just jealousy. But it's good to see Steele back playing at his, tackling best. He's inside midfield dominant best. Nazaya had a huge game.
I love Nazaya.
He's a beautiful
Can
player.
I just say, wow. He, physically, if his body just stays like this now, I don't think he needs to get more muscular or anything. I think he's just got the wingspan, the size, speed, very skillful. What a player. I think he's going to be all-Australian halfback this year.
Could be.
At this point.
The game is a transition game. So anytime you have players that can explode and also kick it to where they want to kick it to.
And the Saints on the big MCG deck, their speed being highlighted, my goodness. I think all the hype is true.
But they've just lost 2 runners in Wood and Liam Henry.
Yeah, that was bad, man. Hope Wood's okay, but
yeah. But even Liam Henry, he played out the game and now he's got a hamstring strain. He's got out for 6 weeks.
Can I just say, look, speaking on Nazar a bit earlier, right? So he was pick 11 in the 2021 national draft, right? And then you go over to a completely different style of player in the 2021 draft, pick 33, Mitch Owens.
Yeah.
Those two, they're A level players.
Owens was a academy pick. At the time, the rules were they could claim him. So
but still, man.
I was gonna comment as well. Yeah, so King being fit and playing well.
What a difference he makes.
What a difference, because then you've got Higgins, Owens, even Memory to an extent, just sort of there poaching all the other opportunities.
Yeah,
it's quite, and even like Sharman. Dude's random, but he's good. He jumps at the ball, man.
He's physical, at least. He's not the bit like the tallest guy, but at least he throws his weight around. He's got a
throws his
little bit of
weight
speed to him. So
Good
yeah.
jump on him, and if you pay so much attention to King, he's there ready to pounce.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, Sinclair came back. He didn't set the world on fire, but he's going to build into the season as well. Their ruckman is firing, Marshall, so he's had another big game. I think they're primed for another good season. So it's a good win from the Saints.
And Windhager, as we mentioned before, did a great job on Dacos.
He's only 20 years old, Windhager.
Yeah,
So-
he was in that same draft, I think, as another academy pick.
It might have been, yeah.
Him and Owens,
Mate,
yeah.
2021, that's spiced them up big time.
I still think they need some more top end talent, but it will come in time.
Yeah,
Saints.
Yeah, but then you don't know. Could it be Darcy Wilson? Could he be the high end
They got
talent?
Philippou as well.
Philippou also is very solid player as well, man. You know, I think he needs to get like the engine, and Darcy Wilson is kind of the opposite. He already has the engine now. He just has to add a bit more polish. And,
Yeah.
Apparently Wilson was the fittest in terms of time trial times at the Saints, being a rookie.
Crazy, huh?
And they've
Yeah.
got Brad Hill and a few other elite runners. That's nuts.
Jack Sinclair as well. He's a good runner. Yeah, so
That's ridiculous.
and his return as well probably wasn't as prolific as he could be, but you know he's back as well at it. So, mate, shout out to the Saints, mate.
Yeah, well done, Saints. Well done. The next game, I've got to be honest, didn't watch even a second of this. But Geelong beat Adelaide in Adelaide. And Adelaide, the media darlings, let's be honest,
Yeah, 100%.
0-2.
We bought into it as well. Maybe I did. 'Cause
I was a bit less than you guys, I think.
Yeah, I think I picked them for the top 8.
Yeah, so did I. But
yeah.
we just thought natural progression. They should have made the 8 last year. But we were pretty hard on the Cats, and look at them winning 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Start off the season. I just think my summary of this game is pretty simple. Geelong way more efficient and clean, but all their ball goes through Tom Stewart. Like
Legit.
crazy amount of ball goes through him. So I mean, they are so reliant on that player. It's crazy. But the Crows, on the other hand, what do you do? Stop kicking it to him. Just do anything other than that.
Yeah, it's weird because a dude like Jordan Dawson, for example, he's such an efficient kick, and we all love him the way he puts the ball into the 50. Well, last year anyway. This year it just hasn't happened. It
No,
was
it's
just
not.
like, where's Tom Stewart? Let's get it to him.
Yeah,
They-
Crows had a lot of ball, but they just were so sloppy and messy, man. And they'd just have ascendancy, and they'd get it forward, and then the Cats would just slingshot the ball and kick a goal and show the Crows how to play clean football.
Yeah, and I think the mix with Adelaide, I don't know, it's just probably not quite there either as well, because if you're playing Crouch now again, who looks super clean,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
by the way. Him and Laird and Berry, it might be a bit too much grunt, not enough polish.
Berry, I was watching him closely, but he's just not clean, man. He overruns the ball. Both this game and last game, he dropped many overhead marks.
Yeah, which is very important for
Very important, man, especially for
Around
like
the
a
ground.
tough player. He needs to be able to take those marks and settle the team. So I don't think he's the future. I like Saligo.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Saligo's got a bit of spirit. But if this is a top 8 team or a projected top 8 team, I just don't think they have enough talent just yet. Rochelle is a gun. Rankin's a gun, right? They've got Laird, obviously, Dawson. But they don't. I just feel like they're missing a lot of talent in their team. Like you've got, who was that player that BT said was killing it and he got it wrong? I've got it written here.
Yeah, there was a dude, I
Pedler.
Pedler.
No
yeah.
disrespect to Pedler, man, but
Nah,
he
he's-
had a shocking game. Shocking game. And just to show how
Oh,
ridiculous
gosh.
BT is commentating, he's like, oh, Pedler's been good.
Yeah,
He's probably
it's-
talking about anyone else. He's probably talking about Stewart and he says Pedler.
The dude he was trying to tag. But yeah.
If you've got Pedler running into your 50, you've got problems, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
He
He's super explosive, and that's cool. But you need to have polish on top of that. Like
The interesting thing I'd noticed, sort of looking at the game from afar, was that Crows hit the front in the third quarter. So third quarter starts, they've kicked 3 of the first 4 goals, including Rankin, to put them ahead. And then I'm thinking, okay, that's probably the moment where they push on.
and then the streaker.
And then it's just, was it at that point exactly? I don't
Insider
know.
trading.
I can't remember. To be honest, I can't remember the exact moment because I was drinking while watching this game. But like,
But then it was-
like the way Matt Crouch was like, just like holding onto that dude's t-shirt as if like it was like
He got
it was like
involved.
what's that?
That streaker, he got involved, man. He was right in it.
Yeah, well, the way Crouchy held him as if it was like he was playing Chasey or something with a little cousin or something, and he was just like, "Come on, man, come on, we got to stop." You know what I mean? And then Ben Keys is like, "You know what? Stuff this little cousin," and he just
It should never have
barrels
got-
him over.
It should never have got to the Keys moment because Crouch
Yeah.
did such a great job holding the guy, and security's just let
They
him
just-
run away from right next to you.
That was your chance, Matt Crouch.
So poor.
Mate.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Keys did well.
That
He's
runner wanted a
underappreciated.
contested possession. That's what he wanted. He wanted a stat.
He almost got it. But yeah, I'm not sure if that was the moment, but as soon as Rankin kicks that goal, within 10 minutes, it's Hawkins, Henry Hawkins in goals. And then bang, Geelong goes on
Geelong
to
still
win
turns
it.
it on. I think, look, that they'll probably be pretty hard to beat Geelong. Like, they look like they're pretty fit. But I'm not too threatened by them because if you're relying on Hawkins, who had a very good game, the guy's 35. Cameron's old. He's an amazing player, but he's old and, injury prone. Dangerfield's like 35. Tom Stewart is still of age and he's killing it, but I just feel like they rely on just some of these players, like even blitz halves. It only takes one or two of these injuries and they're gone.
Injuries, yes, I agree. But assuming fitness, you look at their defense, there's just big, reliable bodies back there. And same in the forward line.
Their team is big, reliable bodies, yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got a few youngsters, which I think would lead them more towards the bottom end of the top 8 than the top 4, naturally. But
yeah, fair.
their foundations are so strong. I think they're going to be hard to beat for the most part. I agree with you.
That's fair.
I don't think they've got a huge ceiling, to be honest, but
Yeah, ceiling-wise, I would agree. But, you look at that defense. They've got guys like DeConning, Stewart, Kolajasny. You're thinking, okay, that's pretty
Jack,
strong.
It's
Jack
solid.
Henry as well.
Jack Henry's-
solid.
yeah.
You're looking at that like, okay, how are we going to get past
O'Shane
this?
Mullen.
Yeah. Mullen, why not?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just having a quick check of the Eagles.
Geelong
game.
is such
Oh, my-
age is just a number. That's Geelong's motto.
That's
I'm pretty
it.
sure if you translate their Latin saying under it, it says age is just a number for Geelong.
Perhaps,
slap that
man.
on the way out of the
Yeah.
tunnel. Age is just
That-
a number.
yeah, it's like the "You'll Never Walk Alone" side for Liverpool. Age is just a number.
They got it
Don't
on a
worry, lads.
scarf or something like that. They'll recruit a 40-year-old if they're available.
They'll write a song about it at some point, and sing it at the start of games.
All right, next game.
Yeah,
so,
so the
Matza,
game-
you and I were at this one.
Yep.
North v Freo.
Mm-hmm.
Freo winning by 26 points. You want to
Yep.
start us off? How did you take in the game?
All right. Well, the start of the game, the first quarter and a half, were excellent. We were up by 33 at one point, so we were moving the ball very well. Yeah, guys like Colby, Tom Powell have looking good. LDU, she's just the typical, North Melbourne good ball movers. But then Freo just locked us up. They just, I don't know how, but they just sapped all the energy out of the game and they turned it around. Pretty much like what they did to Brizzy when Brizzy had a strong start to their game, which we have to acknowledge that, I think we do have to acknowledge that.
We just dumped trash on Freo for like 20 minutes in our last pod.
Yeah, that was...
They were down 4 goals in a game where we thought they weren't going to win anyway.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden... mate, do you remember how we had a segment of, pay us and we'll shit on your team?
Yeah.
That legit, it worked out.
But Dean's like, Sarong, look, he gets the ball, but he's not going to win you the game. Guy breaks the record possessions, 46 or 47 possessions.
That's not evidence that we need to bring that segment back and have people pay us to shit on their team.
Yeah.
And then the fortunes will turn around. I don't know what is.
Yeah, true.
Sarong's got this podcast in his ear and he's like, Dino, man, I know he's going to be a dad, but he's taking the piss.
Hit us up, donate, and we'll shit on your team for you.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, back to the game, to this game. Freo, they just locked us up, man. They locked that up. And then the 60-point turnaround, regardless of how good Freo was, it's not good enough from our guys.
No.
There were opportunities before Freo started locking us up to get another, I think it was at least 3 set shots that should have gone through.
That's what I was going to
And
point out. Yeah.
we would have been up by 45. And at that point, the scoreboard pressure is huge. You just settle back a bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Anyway.
Yeah, so me and Matza are walking into the game and I just said to him, you know what I really want? Is just a nice, chill, good game of footy that we win without a heart attack at the end. Because we were reflecting on it. Matza and I haven't been to a game together where we've just won normally. I think we won West Coast last year, close in the end, even though it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And then Richmond the year before that, very close.
Yeah, we don't say wins.
We don't see wins.
Comfy, yeah.
We don't see wins in general, but when we do, it's a heart attack. So I thought, you know what? I'd really just love a nice stress-free, as much as possible win. And it was happening.
Mm.
We're up by 30, and like you said, so I'm going to read out, right? 11 minutes into the quarter, we're up by 30 points on the nose.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 set shots in the next 5 minutes. Simpkin, Dersma, Larky.
Yep.
Especially the Larky one.
Yeah.
Miss. So it's 33 points, a bit over halfway through the second quarter. And then that last 11 minutes of the quarter, Freo puts on 2 goals and 4 behinds. But you can sense it's only 17 points at that point. The momentum, like Matta said, was sapped from the game. And then Freo just comes out in that third quarter and hits, what was it in the end? 7 unanswered. And it wasn't even like North didn't even look like getting it behind. It was bad until the last kick of the quarter with Wardlaw. But funnily enough, like even despite the energy gone from the game completely, last quarter starts and we hit 3 behinds in a row. They score, we score. And then at this point in the game, we're down 19 points. And this is when 2 bits of madness happen, right? The one I mentioned before where we should have got the out in the full, whatever. But Nick Larkey, who had, I will say, a nightmare game, was poor, finally muscles off Pierce, 15 metres out, and drops something that we would all have marked. And at that point, people were leaving. It's like you're down, if he scores that, we're down by 2 goals. With 10 minutes to go, anything can happen. So honestly, like I agree with Matta. You look at the score, you're thinking, oh yeah, North lost by 26 points. At least they're not getting belted anymore. But I just felt like rubbish. I still do, to be honest. Like we're not going to have many winnable games like that in the first half of the year. And I just feel like completely dejected after that. But, can't ignore the fact that we do have some good youngsters. She's like...
Yeah, and if the game was only like, get rid of that middle part of the game, obviously, we looked great. There's the bones of a team that can win. But...
the intensity in that first quarter and a half, like the tackling, the pressure, selling the candy. Like there was that moment, Fisher and then Larky within like a minute are just selling dummies and then selling the candy.
Fisher did a little double candy at one point.
Things. It was a fun start and just
and Wardlaw's pressure was just immense. That dude's just
and I guess you're going to get that from the youngest team in the league, but it doesn't mean it feels any better as a fan.
We need some more like evidence in the form of wins that we're a good team. It's cool getting evidence in the form of good quarters, but you want those 4 points.
Yeah, and just to talk about Freo a bit, because the big reason why we didn't win was because they were really good at times in the game. I just want to say, like honestly, Jackson's performance in the ruck is the best performance I've ever seen live from a ruckman, and almost from a player. Just full stop. To be honest with you, like. There was genuine moments in that game where you're just like laughing at how good he is. Bursting out of the pack, marking the ball.
It's not like Cherry was bad.
Cherry was okay.
Yeah,
It was a
Cherry
completely like C grade normal ruck performance. And Jackson was just ludicrously good. So shout out to him. Sarong was good. Ryan, patrolled things at the back. So their good players turned up when they needed them. And just
100%.
muscled momentum back. Did you see anything different from TV, George?
So my reflection was when North was playing the first half, I was like, holy crap, look at this, man. Like, they looked unbelievable. Like, they looked incredible. And it was like, whoa, they've arrived. This is crazy. And then you look at the whole game, and then you kind of have to reel that back a little bit because it gives you the whole game gives you context. And I think, no disrespect to North, because I know that they came out with the right way, and there's clearly some beautiful players. But the problem is your best players are like your second gamers and your second year players.
Yeah, true.
I just think Freo were pathetically bad in defence in the first half. And you guys were talking about selling candy. When Zach Fisher is pushing you off and like second gamers are giving you the don't argue, then that tells me that Freo is just doesn't have the intensity. And I think probably their challenge is to find a way to do that, the right pressure and the right intensity for a full game, because they didn't do it against Brisbane, and then they came back. They obviously still have power in the driving room. They've got probably the most informed mid in Sarong at the moment, or that's arguable, but they've got good players in the midfield. They've got a seriously good ruckman. Sean Darcy is good as well, but I don't know if he really fits into the team if they want to maximise Jackson. But and they're just a more mature team up against you guys. So once they got control of the ball and they can get forward pressure and lock it in, they're going to score, right? And I think that's the way to beat North is if a team lets North chip it around, they've got good skills. They've got players that can cut you apart. But if you put pressure on the ball hard, then the youngest team in the comp is going to fold. Yeah. So I think that's what Freo did right. I don't love the way that Freo transitions the ball from the back line. I still think it's way too slow. I don't love someone like a Hayden Young in the midfield either. I think it's not really working. And one of the reasons is, as a midfielder, you got to be able to kick on both feet because you're not always you're in compromised positions, right? And he kicked on his right a lot, and that's not his strength. So I honestly think they should just put him back in the back line and let him use his foot skills to be a bit more creative in the back line because they just move the ball so slowly.
I think he's personally not doing anything special, but it must be working for them in the mix of maybe body type and player types because Sarong's
Potentially,
just unleashed now.
Yeah.
Better than
that
ever.
could be true, yeah.
And then you've got Fife and Young in there as like bigger bodies just doing the dirty work. So I think maybe in a weird way, like he's not maybe thriving from a numbers point of view or even on the eye, but he must be doing stuff in there because there was times where, we were just completely outmuscled and we couldn't get the ball out of our defense, man. It was really like dreadful viewing in that third quarter and at the end of the second. But
And it makes no sense that we couldn't get it out because, like George, you said, the ball users.
that's the disappointing thing.
Yeah, they're talented dudes.
We don't have any aerial presence on the wing or halfback when we're kicking it out of defense.
Yeah, CCJ, he has to be the one providing it, and he's not.
Doesn't. Larky's not that guy.
Nah, Lucky's not a contestant.
Dersma's I've said to Matt, like Dersma is our best mark.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not going to look good in the short term when your best players are the second gamers.
Yeah,
You need some like good quality experienced players to help you build up
Bigger
the competitive
bodies.
edge.
Yeah.
Not like Muppets from other teams, like genuinely good experienced bodies.
Yeah. Should be hard to come by, but hopefully there's enough promise to have Clarko attract a few.
Yeah.
We don't need many, just like one or two a year, and it'll turn pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, the next game, look, there's not much to say about this. Hawthorn was absolutely woeful. Melbourne just took care of him.
Hey, the Wiz got his first goal.
Wiz got his first goal, so a bit of an update on that one. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm curious.
my
about
brother,
that.
he enjoyed that little Wizard segment last week, but he
Yeah.
wants to reiterate that he does think long term there's going to be potential there to be a really damaging small forward, but he's
Kicked
not
6
entirely.
points. He kicked 6 points before his first goal.
But he also said like it's actually promising upon reflection that he's had that many shots on goal in 2 games.
Yeah,
That's a fair call.
That's what we said
I like
last
that.
week, though. That's what we said.
Yeah, so I think he's thought about it and he's not happy with. I still think he prefers Sanders and Curtin, but
Yeah.
there's something there, and I think he'll be okay. So that's Wizard Watch. We'll keep that going. See how we go throughout.
Let
the
me ask
season.
you this, right? The commentators brought it up, and it's an interesting question. Should he be called the Wizard when he hasn't earned the name Wizard? What do you think?
So he was Wizard in
He
the
was
draft
always-
hype.
Yeah, he's known as the Wizard.
Yeah, but
And that's-
should he be called the Wizard?
Should he be like what, an apprentice wizard?
yeah,
What's what do they call
What
like
do they
Harry
call-
Potter?
yeah,
You
what
know
do
what I
they-
mean? Before he's a real
He's
wizard.
like a half. He's like a half blood at the moment, like a Muggle.
Yeah, he's a muggle. So
He's not a
muggle.
This guy hasn't watched Harry Potter. He's just
Yeah.
exposed himself.
Nah, actually, no, you're right. Not half. Nah, muggles are just complete non-wizards.
Oh, really?
So I guess you know what? Then
that's
actually
He's a
works.
sorcerer.
No,
He's a
Mudblood.
sorcerer.
Sorry.
What's
He's a
that?
Mudblood. He's a Mudblood.
Mudblood.
That's the one. That's the one I meant.
Maybe
So
he's a mudblood.
Maybe he's a half blood at the moment. He's a Mudblood, and later he'll be a wizard when he graduates. So you think he might need to earn the wizard status again?
I don't really care, but it's just the point. I
Yeah,
think
I like it too. I like it, man.
I like the idea that he needs to earn it. Like, what happens if he becomes a hack and we're still calling him the Wizard? That's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah. At
You're
what
right,
point?
you're
At
right.
what point of him not delivering do you take away the wizard?
Yeah.
You know what,
It-
Hawthorn fans? I want Hawthorn fans to tell us. And we know a few of them. I want you guys to message us saying, how long do you give Nick Watson an opportunity to retain the wizard title before we take it away?
Slowly. Like, I'm sure he'll be a great player, but if he doesn't perform and it's like year 3, no one's going to be calling
Like
him
if
the
it's
Wizard.
example now.
You're
So
right. You're right.
Say it's like,
But it'll be the wizard. You know what I mean? It'll be like it'll end up being like an ironic.
Yeah, yeah.
nickname,
if it's
you know?
if it's 3 years in and he's
mid.
who's like a plays regularly but not lighting the world on fire small forward, like a
Swikowski.
Squid.
yeah. So maybe he's like a
Yeah.
Switkowski he's okay,
Yeah,
but
he's
he's
good.
nothing special.
Yeah.
Doesn't
He's not Charlie Cameron.
He's not Charlie Cameron.
Like a Matthew Owens.
Yeah.
Guy.
No, it always sucks, man.
He's
If
good. He
if
has
he's
a good
always-
haircut.
Bro, if the Wizard Watson becomes always, that is the worst draft pick ever.
So all right, say he becomes Switkowski, who Freo fans will probably say he's actually really valuable. I'm not doubting that, but
Yeah.
we're not raving about.
But he's
Switkowski.
not Charlie Cameron.
Yeah.
He's not Papley.
You
So
want
say
it to,
he's
you want
that
it to be
level.
like a Jamie Elliott type. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
better.
Just
You want it to
solid.
be better, man. You want it to be
Yeah, fair.
Surioli.
So say the Switkowski
Fair.
vibe. Do you strip it at that point?
100%.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he
geez.
becomes
All right,
Muggle.
Hawthorn fans can overrule us though. They can
Yeah.
tell us because they're the ones that are going to have to go through it.
Yeah. If he's an effective 22 player, but not like a star, he's a mudblood. If he gets delisted, obviously he's a muggle. You know?
Yeah, he was never truly. He didn't have any wizard power.
Yeah, no, it was all cap.
Probably the biggest story, like the only story of this game, was the fact that May's injured.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
Lever's
and Lever as well.
injured as well.
Yeah.
So whichever team's got him next week, he's very lucky.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
who it is. We'll see.
Who may that be?
It is Port Adelaide in Adelaide.
Ooh, so Charlie Dixon, you'd think just launch
Feast.
it into him.
Yeah, feast.
Yeah.
$1
$1 Petty has to play backline now.
True.
Yeah.
I did want to mention actually your boy Fritsch, 5 goals.
Yeah, he's good.
Pickett 3, they were very dangerous.
The track still got it going.
Yes.
But I don't know, man. They smashed the Hawks.
Yeah.
And the other thing, it's like half the game, the commentator's like, it's only 30 points. It's only 30 points. They're trying to, it's not only 30 points, man.
They were just toying with him. I think they knew the game was won and just, wasted a bit of time here and there, chipped the ball around, killed the game.
You know, I got to say though, you're right. The commentators, they did keep me like checking. Wait, what is the actual score? And I'm like,
It was never close, bro. Ever.
Yeah, nah.
At no point.
But those commentators, man, they got me going. They had me like actually watching the game, which is great.
I think Hawthorn does that to you because they always try and play daring football. So you kind of think like,
Yeah.
if this kick pulls off, then it's actually good, and it doesn't.
Yeah, and then it's the goal the other way.
Yeah.
I like Ginnivan, though.
Yeah.
He's been a good inclusion. He's playing well.
There you go. Maybe that's what Collingwood need right now.
And they had actually just
Gotta go get him back. Go trade a first rounder.
Ask for forgiveness.
Ask
Get him
for
back.
forgiveness.
Schultz ain't doing
Some
anything.
Forgiveness.
Schultz looks not like nothing.
Yeah, they're overrated, man. Was he a first round pick? Future first?
Yes.
Come on.
Mate, he's some mudblood at the moment. Yeah.
So yeah, if he's like a Schultz, does he maintain the status?
Current Schultz, he's a mudblood.
Okay. The next game. So last night, Sydney Essendon was a pretty interesting game of footy.
Yeah, it was good
I think
game.
I can speak on behalf of every neutral fan. Like 131 to 101. That's the kind of high scoring game we want to see most weeks. So
Yeah.
well done to both teams. Was pretty close for the most part. Papley just tears up Essendon. with 4
Tears up
goals.
your draft team.
Yeah, shout out to
Frappe
Arthur
Mekrema.
Frappe Mekrema that I was playing. He did one on me.
He had some funny words to say about Essendon as well. He didn't hold back Papley.
Can I actually? Yeah, I did want
Yeah.
to talk about that.
I actually
So-
look. Papley is a gun player, and I'm so pissed Carlton never got him back a couple of years ago when they tried to trade for him because he's a Carlton supporter. But the way he celebrates, flog. The way he plays, flog. But I like the fact that he backed in his team there. I love it, especially
Well,
against Essendon.
So here's the thing, right? So Peter Wright gets, who was it? Fox in the end? Was it that he concussed?
No, it was Cunningham.
Cunningham. So he's concussed Cunningham. Wasn't as bad as the Simpkin one, as an example, in my opinion. But, obviously...
He'll get 3 weeks, I reckon.
Yeah, he'll get a couple of weeks. Obviously, there was a few scuffles around the ground, and Essendon was a bit more on the over-physical side, probably. Papley says, Brad Scott came out and said it's the Essendon way, but anyway, I won't go into it. You can pretend to be tough, but you've still got to win the ball and win the game. It's all a facade, I think. But anyway.
I love how he goes, I'm not going to go into it, and then proceeds to go into it. Proceeds to rip into it.
That's so funny, man. Essendon has been kind of called out for being weak. Because remember the Luke Parker, Dylan Shill thing last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
The shrugging of the shoulders?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will add this on Brad Scott specifically.
Yeah.
North, when we were a finals team and making prelims, but not that, like no one thought we'd go further than that, we were always over physical in big games. Think of Scott Thompson, Ferrito. They would always get in a blues with the other team.
You're
and
right.
you'd think of it in a way like good sometimes, but annoying most of the time because they're giving away free kicks and such. I reckon it's a Brad Scott thing, to be honest with you.
That's
that
so funny.
in a big
Maybe.
game, it's like he's emphasizing playing on the edge, which I don't mind, but you've got to back it up with winning. And
There's
that's
no
where
point like doing jabs on
Correct.
people or playing like that. You need to
and
play
that's
hard at the
my
ball.
direct memory of the Brad Scott era is we were a above average team for the most part, but always in the big games, especially when we were losing or if it was close, it just goes over the edge.
Yeah, can I just say thank you for reminding me about Scott Thompson, man. I used to love Scott Thompson back in the day.
Hey, look.
I know he was a pest, but like he was a solid dude. Love to have him right now. Can you imagine him there?
Yeah.
Combin.
Coleman can't get a game in the number one
You
team at
should.
the moment.
You should. You know, I don't know. We could use someone like that right now. I
But
reckon.
anyway, it looks to me like Brad Scott's trying to change the culture and the way they play, the toughness and things. I just think they played against the better team and
Yeah.
lost.
Look, they didn't play bad Essendon. And
No.
Sydney are incredible. They're not just good, they're incredible.
Yeah,
So
they're doing this without Parrish as well, you know. So some
Yeah.
of the younger dudes like Archie Perkins and Setterfield, and who's the other one who's getting some inside mid? Durham.
Durham looks all right.
They're getting some, you know, some decent mileage out of these guys. But it was a golden game. This one, you know what I mean?
my God.
Like
I
seriously,
want to like meet his mum and thank her for raising such a good man. That kid is a freak, man. Wow.
Yeah, he's a special talent.
I knew I could wind him up by saying golden.
Bro. And even like Chad Warner, the power of this man.
Oh man, I love mate. He can get the ball at any point and he just starts sprinting.
But he accelerates.
He's just-
No matter what point of the game, he's always got another gear. Heaney is in career best form, in Brownlow form. You got the Lizard going crazy. The Amadi's marking balls. Like the thing is, they're so good and they're also so young.
I know Luke Parker and Adams just like
And Mills.
Just go retire, lads.
Yeah.
I know Mills, you're 26, too old.
You're
Get
the
out of here.
captain. Get out of here.
Get out of here. We don't need you, mate. You're fighting during preseason. Like, you know, we don't need that. You know, just give us Heaney on the ball all the time.
Yeah.
You know, good for Supercoach, good for football.
The thing is, I think like Essendon actually, they played well and they stuck with a really good team, but just the firepower from Sydney just felt like it was infinite. Like they just could keep going no matter what.
And every time Essendon came back and made it within a goal, they would get two more.
Yeah, and then they just piled it on. They took the piss in the last 5 minutes with those goals they kicked.
Yeah, they did. And Warner especially, I've noticed the last couple of weeks, he's been kicking goals late. Like you said, his energy just late in games.
He's got some serious power, man. Unbelievable player.
Very fit, yeah. And then you've got, I just wanted to mention actually on the Essendon side, probably Gresham's best game for Essendon.
Yeah.
Might be, yeah.
Very good.
I'd say probably top 5 games of his career.
Of his
you'd
career
say.
in general, yeah,
Yeah.
actually. Good point. Dersma hasn't really done
No.
much.
Nah,
Weird one, that one.
He just sort of sits on the wing and we don't notice him much. And when he gets the ball, it's like, oh yeah, he plays there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And Ben
Yeah.
Mackay, just the one mark. Probably they want a bit more from him. So their recruits are not hitting the ground running for the most part, I'd say. But I think they've just matured a little
Look, they
bit.
got Parrish, they got Redmond, they got Ridley to come back.
Yeah.
The two, Ridley is a big out, and also Zach Reed. He was meant to be, you know, the other key defender this year, and he's tall and a decent ball user. So it makes it a bit harder for Mackay, who's probably been training with those two the entire, you know, preseason. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I've got Laverty now.
And I think
who's it, Laverty or Langford? Who's it? No,
Laverty.
Laverty,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
And I
yeah.
think what's his name? Just looking. Oh, sorry, I lost it. Nick Cox. He looked a bit better. I think he's still
Yeah.
got some untapped potential to be a good player for them.
He's only like a
100%.
third year player, man.
Yeah.
He didn't play last year either.
I think with him, give him a defined role and actually just let him become good at it. Like, is it just put him as a key defender because you don't know about Zach Reed and Jordan Ridley can play as a small anyway?
Was he playing more like half-back wingish sort of role against Sydney last night?
I thought it was more half forward.
Half-forward-ish.
Wing.
Okay.
I swear he had a set shot at one point as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
did
where
have a
he was
shot.
going. Mate.
Okay.
I don't know
He
where he was going.
even played deep in
Right,
forward at
okay.
some point.
Maybe I just saw him pop up on half-back once or twice, but
Well, look, now that 2 meter Peter's going to go out for a couple of weeks, he'll probably go forward. So that'll be his thing. I don't know. Cool to see him get an actual defined role, and you know, because there's clear potential there of, you know, A grade, perhaps. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see.
But no, cracking game of footy. Like, yeah, once again, that's a good watch on a Saturday night if you're sitting at home, nothing to do, and you have that game on in the background.
It's just high skill.
Yeah.
There's some beautiful players. Yeah, it's good.
Well done to him. So then today we had Western Bulldogs jumps the Suns and never look back really.
Yeah.
Turns out the Suns can only play with the dewy ball in Queensland.
No
that's
Wits
it.
is actually a huge loss for them though. They just didn't have the dominance in the midfield.
I agree. And what's his name? English and Darcy were incredible.
Yeah,
both of
Darcy
them.
was crazy.
Man, he's stuff lob, man. Seriously.
Well, we said it, didn't we, the other day?
Yeah, you definitely said on the pod, lob.
Why is he there when you've got Darcy, a mercurial talent? And there you go. So
Darcy was excellent, both in the ruck, forward. When he went back, when the ruckman go back to defend, he was taking, those intercept marks as well. He's great, man.
It looks like he runs in slow motion though. With how long his legs are. He's like 2 leaps and he's across the ground.
Yeah, no, they had 2 noodles on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, him.
One's a
and,
noodle,
Timmy.
one's a toothbrush.
One's a toothbrush. But no, legit. Yeah, they looked a lot better with those 2 out there than Lob, who doesn't really provide anything. And because Lob plays a lot more forward than he does ruck, it frees up Norton and Jamara probably a little bit as well.
Yeah. I just felt like they had a lot more aerial presence this game, and I think they like broke the record for intercepts.
Really?
Yeah, so it was like, I mean, even like Buku Kama's had a lot of like, you know, I don't think he had a very good game last week, but he had a great game this week. I thought Norton was better this week. They just had more competing in the air players.
You're right.
Buku
I'm
looked
looking
good.
at the stats. There's a lot of players with multiple marks.
Yeah,
Buku looked good, man.
He looked good.
He looks just fine. He played on Walter, who
yeah, he looked good as well.
man, but he only looked good for like maybe a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
But like when he looks good, man, the speed of this dude,
What did I tell you
and
guys?
the physicality,
Yeah.
it's like they've literally got like Kerno out there already, just physicality wise.
He was rolling like doing somersaults on the ground and stuff. It's hilarious.
Give him a
Look,
few more
he-
games and he'll be a monster. Yeah.
The thing that caught my eye with him, right, and Ben King out there is that he took a contested mark at one point down the, you know, around the 50-meter point, right, and then he just launched it up to King, who took another contested mark. Can North have one of those? One of
Just
those?
one. Just one.
Just one. These guys have 2, and Casbolt as well, who's also a good contested mark. It's ridiculous, man.
And Wits when he's back.
And Wits when he's back. So yeah, there you go.
It was also good to see like Raul, an absolute bull, go up against Libba. Like there was
Yeah.
Bont in there, Anderson was in there. It was actually quite a fierce contested battle in the midfield. But yeah, Dogs just, I felt like they were just too strong today.
I reckon I'm just thinking about it right now because I was gonna say Libba and Brow might be the 2 most ferocious tacklers in the league, but like those 2, Wardlaw, I reckon the most ferocious tacklers. Who else? There's another dude I was thinking as well, another ferocious tackler. Like Jack Steele gets a lot of them, but I don't know if he's a ferocious tackler.
Rowbottom is a big tackler.
Yeah, he's ferocious as well. But, but yeah, anyway, I got
Every
sidetracked there.
every team's got someone that's a bit of a beast.
But the way Raul grabs people and just rolls around,
yeah, he's
it's
great. He's like
so
he's
fun.
wrestling out there.
Yeah, legit, man. And I think the facial hair, like or whatever,
Yeah, I
whatever
like it.
facial hair is there, has helped him.
I like
I
it,
think
yeah,
it
yeah.
has made him meaner. So,
Absolutely.
His ability to stand up in the tackle though is crazy. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
It's almost like you're tackling him. Every other player has to just man up because he's just scanning and taking his time,
Yeah,
just handballing.
exactly.
Crazy. Shout out to Waitman as well. 6 goals, 0.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
performance.
yeah.
Kick 4 in the first quarter. Drew Petrie-esque. Just
Drew
bit of a shout out to those that remember that
that's
one
it. The five goals in the first quarter
against the Dogs.
The Dons.
Actually, Dogs.
I thought it was against the Dons. I thought it was against Essendon.
I think it's the Dogs.
Maybe.
Find out next week.
I think it's the Dogs. But
On
anyway,
the next episode of
Yeah.
great
F1
performance
Joyous.
by Waitman as well. So yeah, look, honestly, for me, just big picture stuff though. Gold Coast, if you're going to be playing like that away from home, don't know if you'll make finals again. To be honest with you, it could be an
Yeah.
Adelaide situation where they look really good at home and then lose games like this. This is a big loss. Yeah, let's not act like it was a close one. 48
No.
points is crap.
They did bring it back towards the end of the third quarter, but then it just faded away.
Look,
man.
I think the only thing is like the wind had a big influence. Dogs really took advantage of it in the first quarter. Not having Wits, anytime Wits doesn't play, they always suffer. Even last year, whenever it is. So
And against English and Darcy, who both did very well.
Yeah.
It sort of exemplifies.
and I
that.
just thought the Dogs just had a bit more presence about them. I was much more impressed this week than previous week. So
Very cool. Sanders had a full game as well and looks
he
great.
looked great. Yeah.
Man, something about the way he runs, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has that, he has a funny looking run.
He
but I
does have
like
a funny,
it.
but it's a straight run. It's like he's balanced.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like the Sam Mitchell style, like low center of gravity, quick feed.
High socks as well.
Yeah,
I'm not a high socks guy, I'll be honest. If I was a footy player, my socks would be low as.
yeah,
Low rider.
Just sort of like scrunch them
Yeah.
towards the bottom. Yeah, fair enough.
You can't have high socks, man. It's
I might be a high sock guy.
I
I don't know.
No,
I'm not sure. I can't confirm. I've never played footy properly, but
Look,
Start
I
a
don't
podcast with the person and then realize that he's a high socks guy. Come on, man.
I'm just assuming I might go for it first. But depending on how tight they are around the calves, I might ditch it.
yeah,
don't
black
know.
boots or what
Yeah,
color
no,
boots?
black boots for sure. Black boots.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd have conservative boots, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon the thing is, I think of futsal. My boots were like a light blue, and they had like some weird, So I might go some
Dude,
bit.
my futsal boots were orange. I played like one game and then like retired.
It's because
I
you wore
remember-
the orange boots, man.
Funny,
People thought you
actually,
were
can we
good.
just quickly have a sidestep here? My first futsal game with the boys
Yeah.
was your last, and you subbed off, and you're like, "Get me off, get me off, get me off," and you never played with us again.
Hey, it's still better than my footy career, but yeah, not much. Not much better.
That's funny. So yeah, that was that game, and then Richmond lost to Port Adelaide by 30 points in the end. Pretty close game for the most part. Richmond
Yeah,
did
competitive,
better
yeah.
than most
Yeah.
thought, I think. Bake Show did his best.
Yeah, the old bake
3
show,
goals.
man. But we had a Butters game, baby.
Oh,
Hey man, I want to meet Butter's mum, just so I can thank her
How many
for
players?
raising such an amazing little player.
You know what?
I think like Georgie wants to meet the Butters mum. He wants to meet Mrs. Goulden, Mrs.
You know what?
Sarong.
in a couple of weeks or whenever it is, like in a month, so when it's Mother's Day, we need George to just write a letter, a dedication to all the mums of these favorite players.
Man,
in the AFL.
I love Goulden and Butters, man. Come on, they're just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Nah,
Like
fair.
Rosie's a great player, but I just don't like him.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I don't like him.
Nah, yeah.
But
you
Butters.
look at the dream team to Supercoach ratio.
Yeah,
And Butters bodied Rosie.
bodied him.
He bodied him, man.
He's next level, that kid.
Like I think the thing with Butters, right? You look at his what was it? 34 disposals, right? Contested 14, solid amount. 85% disposal efficiency. 3 goal assists and 13 score involvements. The the prolific nature of not just getting the ball, but using it in an effective way at the end of these scoring chains.
Yeah, he's damaging us.
Yeah.
And so is Goulden. They're both just special players. Imagine, we've got Walsh. Carlton's got Walsh, but Walsh is just injured constantly these days.
Yeah,
So I can't gloat about him.
See, he needs the same back that that Butters and Goulden have there.
They haven't
You
had
know?
to do the same work that Walsh did. They ruined Carlton ruined Walsh, man.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's
That's the
funny.
thing. That's why. See, and we think that what's his name? Oh, the Port Adelaide coach. What's his name?
Ken Hinkley.
Ken Hinkley. Oh man, he doesn't like Butters. He's playing him in the forward line. He knew what he was doing.
He was protecting
man,
him.
He was
protected
protecting him, man.
Well, actually,
It makes
funnily,
He was
sense.
raising the man. He was raising the boy to become the man.
Exactly.
funny
right.
enough as well, didn't Cripper have issues with his back for a while as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Before Walsh came along. So, like, Cripper's just given, like, the Atlas,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
globe, what's his name? And then
Yeah, Atlas.
Atlas, yeah, he's given it to Walsh, who's
The
now
weight
done
of
his
the
back
world.
in.
Cripps is playing good footy because he doesn't have the weight on him anymore.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, anyway.
He's
No, well
got-
done.
he's- The Chera's got to take a little bit
Chera's-
of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Bold
Help him
Chera
out.
needs to come back, man.
Bald. I know.
Shady said, go
Chera
Shady
with
said.
hair, he's not performing.
Yeah, like,
Shave it off, Chera.
I hated watching him bald, but like at least he was good. Yeah. At least he was good, bro.
Yeah, you get the ball, you close your eyes and just wait for him to get a good possession. But he'll come back, Chera. He'll come back.
But yeah, Marshall kicked 4. You got then 3 from Finlayson, a couple from Dixon. I think the keys just overwhelmed Richmond's
Yeah.
smaller defenders. But another high scoring game. I think in general, like if we're seeing games like that, footy will be better off than those lower scoring games. It's a lot more fun.
100%.
Richmond, look, I think so far, while they're not getting the wins, I think they've been a bit better than people thought.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, just like North, like you can play a good couple of quarters, but if you're not winning games, your record can get ugly pretty quickly.
Yep, agreed. And then the last game, and again, full disclosure, sorry, it's not our
Let's
fault.
check the
The
scores
Perth
live.
games are playing at like 5 o'clock at night. It's not our fault, but
I know.
West Coast is losing 16 to 36 in the second quarter. So they're thereabouts.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They are not going to win.
No, of
They
course
are
not.
just not going to
yeah,
win.
no. Look, boys, you can go as heavy as you want on West Coast.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we will because
No.
we know what situation they're in.
I don't have a leg to stand on either as a North fan. I'm over bagging other teams out. Like, we've got nothing to say other than they're clearly rebuilding. GWS, clearly a very good team.
What I will say is Yo, 17 possessions, Duncan, 13 possessions, Tim Kelly, 11. Their midfielders are standing up a bit. Harley Reid's got 9. It's not too bad.
Yeah, look, I can't have Tom Green get 150 in Supercoach because I don't have him, and the guy I'm versing has him as captain. That's my only real takeaway from this game.
So
To be
far,
honest with you,
you're in trouble with it so far. But
Yeah, I know. Look, I'll tell you the situation, right? Like since this game isn't really that interesting, let's have a little. Just give me a sec, man. Let this Supercoach app is the worst, man. It is the worst. It's so slow.
while you're doing that, we'll
Right.
just touch on the 2 teams with the bye.
Yeah.
George, any news out of Carlton?
Who won the bye this week?
Who won this? Have you had a great week off?
Bro, I absolutely hate the bye, man. Why we have a bye this early? But look, what some news from Carlton was that apparently, like obviously they know they had to buy early, so they planned for it in the preseason, and they went really hard to prepare, and they overloaded the players in the early couple of rounds. So, and then have given themselves now the chance to relax and then kind of rebuild into their season. So it'll be interesting to see Carlton come back. They should be a lot more fresh because they haven't had the same level of overloaded training. So we'll see if Carlton comes out against North next week and just spanks you. I think Lions is probably a time for the... Is it a time? Do you reckon Lions wanted to buy to kind of reset, or they wanted just to get back into footy and just kind of prove themselves?
I think they'll say publicly no because you want to get back into it and right the wrong. But I think deep down, it's probably good for them.
Just to reset.
Yeah. Interesting. Matza, what were you...
So I'm trying to do the math right. I think if Tom Green gets 155, I lose.
He's getting 155.
He's
bro.
on track, to be
He's
fair.
on 62, and it's not even like half time yet.
Yeah, so that's the situation. Wish me luck, guys. Who knows? Maybe they'll sub him out because the heavy workload or something.
They're not doing that.
I don't know. If you're Ruben Jimby out there and you're listening, go injure him, please.
Tom Green's in Brownlow form as well.
Yeah.
Considering how good the Giants are going to be this year as well, he's a big shout for the Brownlow.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's just there'll be a lot of dudes who are stealing votes. But actually, maybe not.
Midfielders
Like
get the
who's-
votes, dude.
Yeah, you're right. Like Hogan will probably get
Some early votes. for
some
sure.
early, yes. Maybe not this week. He's only on 1 goal too, but like the previous weeks, we kicked 5 or 6 each week,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Even when they do that, they still don't always get 3 votes.
Yeah, but the thing is, he does it in a very dominant nature, getting contested marks as well. I think he'll get votes. But yeah, Tom Green will definitely poll very high this year. Probably will be his best poll.
Who's your shout now that we've got some evidence? Who's your shout for the Brownlow this year? Because I would have said Dacos hands down before the season started. But given that there's some seriously dominant players, Green, Goulden,
I think
Butters.
you said Dacos
So
at
wrong.
the start. I said Goulden at the start. And
I
then,
said Dacos.
and then you said Dacos as well. Or did you say someone else? Did you say Welsh again? Because you might have
I said Walsh before he got injured. But
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna stick with Goulden, to be honest with you, because he just stands out.
how can
when
you
they
not
win.
give him? Well, look, Heaney.
Oh, but
Heaney,
actually, you know
Heaney-
what? Heaney's gonna take his votes.
Yeah, Heaney's probably got 9 votes, man.
Yeah. No, actually, no. You know what? That's gonna be interesting. They're gonna be stealing votes
Yeah,
from each other.
100%.
You know, it'll be 3. I. Heaney. There's no other I. Who's the other I for Sydney? You know?
I don't know.
Is there another I? I don't know.
Nah. It's not many in the league, to be honest with you.
Nah.
Isaac Cumming, who else?
Isaacs. Isaiahs. We got any Isaiahs in the league? You know,
I coming ain't getting any votes.
any
mate.
Isabellas? We got Isabellas in the league?
Nah.
No, probably not.
But yeah, that's the
the
round
round,
pretty
yeah.
much. Now we'll quickly look to next week, do some tips. Brisbane's hosting Collingwood at the Gabba. What I will say is just looking at the money line here from Sportsbet, Collingwood is $3.05. When's the last time that happened?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Carlton broke the hoodoo in Brisbane, but let's not forget they didn't lose a game last year. They've had the chance to reset.
Neil
Neil
come back.
comes back in. I think the Lions should clearly be favourites. Despite, even if Collingwood was playing well, they should still be favourites.
So Collingwood potentially 0-4.
I think so, man.
That's nuts.
That is nuts.
I did actually. Can we just shout out my tip last
Both
week?
teams haven't won a game.
Can I just say I tipped the Saints last week? I was on
did
board
too.
the hangover train, and I'm going to stay on it for now.
I'm gonna stay on the hangover train as well, mate. Let's go Brizzy,
Same.
baby.
But the other thing to mention is if Brisbane lose, they're 0-3.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then we're playing in that gather round the week after. RAP North. Next game, North hosting Carlton at Marvel, apparently. Good Friday clash. North's paying $6 at the moment.
Oh, really? All right.
I'll tip Carlton, obviously.
Yeah, Carlton.
All right, I guess I thought we were gonna do the. You know what?
Nah, you know what,
Last
Matt?
year. You know what?
It's not
Yeah,
happening.
no, you're right. Carlton. All right.
I will say this,
Whatever.
though. If Richmond can give you a game, I think if you're not careful, we can be in the game after
Look,
half time.
I was reflecting on it while you guys were playing, and I think I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. If Carlton brings their game style, which is hard contested pressure,
Yeah, we'll lose.
I think we'll slaughter you guys.
Yeah.
If we don't, though, then it's game on because Richmond beat us in the middle. And if your midfield holds up and you can get some outside ball, you guys can cut us. But if we're on top of that contestant side and getting it deep into Kerner and Mackay, what are you going to do, man?
I think it's going to be very similar to last year's game, to be honest, where it's somewhat close.
And then we break.
And then you break away because we, again, don't have anyone to match up on your key forwards.
Yeah,
And they're gonna
unless
fix-
Comben just comes in and is just
No.
the greatest key defender of all time.
They'll kick
in
4
his
each.
debut as a defender.
They'll kick 4 each and we'll lose.
Yeah.
Look, under the roof, conditions good. I think we should clearly win. Yeah.
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 Freo hosting the Crows, who Crows also undefeated. Now it seems like
in
going
Perth.
to Perth to play Freo is probably not what you want to do.
No, I'm going with Freo.
Yeah, Freo.
Yep.
I think we've got to back him in, which is crazy. I don't like it, but
Yeah. Early contender for game of the round, to be honest, other than the Brisbane Collingwood both need a win, is Essendon hosting St Kilda at Marvel.
Oh, that is a good game.
Yeah, it is a good game. I like Essendon.
I did not expect to hear that.
Yeah, neither do I.
I like Sydney. That's St Kilda.
It is at Marvel. Does that matter much
They both
in your calculations?
play. The Saints are good at Marvel. I think I was actually quite impressed with Essendon, to be honest with you. I think that I think it'll be a close game. Saints are never out of it because of the pressure they played. I don't like the fact that Mason Wood and Henry got injured. That hurts them.
Plus
I
Henry
think.
out as well.
Yeah,
I'm still going to go St Kilda.
I hope St Kilda wins. Don't get me wrong, but I think Essendon will win.
Yep, fair enough. Then Port is hosting Melbourne in Adelaide.
Port is hosting Melbourne in Adelaide.
It'll be telling if Melbourne win that. It'll be pretty telling.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go with Port just because of the defender injuries.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
true.
But
True.
that otherwise like if Melbourne were full strength, that'd be such a good game.
Good
Yeah.
point. I
No,
might
you're
have
right.
tipped Melbourne. I forgot about that.
Yeah, no.
But I'll go Port as
Hey,
well.
I got you, bro. Don't worry.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Doggies hosting the Eagles at Marvel. Now, don't forget the Eagles beat them last year in a moment where the Dogs couldn't lose.
Did they actually beat him?
Late last year, the Eagles beat
Yeah, you're right.
the Dogs, then they beat us
yeah,
in
but
Perth. But they beat the Dogs when the Dogs had to win
Yeah.
to try and make finals.
we saw what the Bulldogs just did to a no ruckman team in Gold Coast.
That was the
Mate.
case last year too.
Mate,
They
Timmy
lost.
English is going to get about 160 Supercoach.
That might be true, but do you think the Eagles are a chance to shock them again?
No.
Bro, this guy's doing the commentator
No.
thing where he's trying to get us entertained in the game.
It's not the Hawks playing.
I'm just
It's-
speaking facts. They beat them last year.
Yeah,
when,
will you go pick West Coast then, mate?
I will, you know what? I will.
All right. Bulldogs, mate.
Eagles, baby.
I reckon the Eagles are going to do it.
He sabotaged the
no,
tip.
no way. No,
No.
Impossible.
Thank you.
Nah, I
My
do think
God.
the Dogs will win. I'm just saying. The
Are
Eagles
you sure the Eagles won or they just
They
got
did.
close?
No, they did.
No,
Definitely
I-
they
I'm
did. Yeah,
telling you they
100%.
won.
That is
100%.
mental.
But the Dogs will win. The Dogs will win. Richmond is then hosting the Swans at the MCG. I think we
Swans, yeah.
Swans.
have to reward the Swans form.
Mm.
And then the classic Easter Monday clash is Hawthorn hosting the Cats at the G.
Oh, it's the Cats, man. Come on.
Cats. This match for a while, despite the form of either team, was always close. But
Yeah,
I think,
But I think there's like 0 players involved from the rivalry.
yeah, it's a shame. That was always a good clash. But
yeah. Like unless Corey Enright puts the jumper
Oh,
back.
please, Ian. One of my favourites.
Sammy Mitchell's like, you know what? I can't stand watching. Like, you know, I look the same as Mackenzie anyway. So
They should have a round where the assistant coaches can be subbed onto the field. The Saints
Why
will be
not?
alright. They got like Lenny Hayes. They got Robert Harvey.
yeah,
got some players.
not that Jack still needs the help, but he can do it all on his own.
That's true.
North's got Xavier Clark and Barlow in the coaching ranks.
That's
not bad.
Hey,
Xavier Clark.
Barlow's all right, man. You know,
Clark will still like lose his head and punch someone.
like Barlow, like he never needed speed, so that'd be just fine. You know, just go in there,
Look,
win
the
a couple
game's a lot
contestants.
faster than it was back then. I don't
Yeah.
know, man. They might struggle. Considering they're 40 and 50 years old as well.
But the way saying, obviously.
Look, honestly, Matt, I reckon it's a bad idea. Even though I came up with it, it's terrible.
And that's the
Who's
last
got the bye?
game. It's the bye is Gold Coast and the Giants, which is a shame that there's a bye round in a long weekend round where we're stretching out the games.
The
It's going to
AFL
be
Yeah.
screwed up, man.
a shocking fixture. But Suns, Giants, Suns probably off that loss. Don't want to be having a bye, but
I was gonna say, watch them justify opening around next year as well. Be like, it was such a success. We had so many people going to the first round of footy because people missed the footy and want to go. Like, it's
it's shambolic.
We were talking
Anyway.
about it before. The AFL doesn't give the people what they want very
No.
often. And
No.
the other thing I said is Jack Rewalt as a commentator. No one asked for Jack Rewalt as a commentator.
No.
Straight out of footy either.
No.
He's not even a likable player. He was a good player, but no one likes him. Even Richmond supporters say that he's not a cool guy.
Yeah.
And now he's commentating every one of my games. Leave me alone, bro.
Yeah. And
No, I agree,
as
mate.
we're talking about the buy, some fan mail from JL, a loyal listener of the pod, saying, feels really odd that there are buy rounds so early. Makes it feel like the season hasn't actually started. There you go. He's read our mind.
There you go.
It is
Shout out
weird. It's
JL.
unnatural to have.
Yeah, it's just there's no
fixture like this.
momentum. Like no one wants to see their own team that they support have a bye.
Yeah.
3 rounds in. I
And
had
the-
to do it on the second round.
Yeah. And the ladder just looked weird as well.
And then the ladder doesn't reflect the accurate kind of thing until round 6 or round 7 when everyone
Yeah.
do they catch up?
I think
Yeah,
after-
it'll end up being normal after round 6. Yeah,
and then
or
soon
8,
after is
7,
the
7.
normal buy rounds. So,
Which will be even worse.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, just quick update as well. GWS 56, Eagles 17, almost halftime. So, yeah, pretty safe to say that the Eagles are going to lose that one comfortably. But that's about it for today, fellas. Anything else you want to mention before we finish?
No. I'm content.
All good. No worries.
Are you content, bro?
Like with the podcast or in general? In life?
We'll go with the podcast. We'll go into the personal stuff later.
Yeah, podcast great.
That's all we need to hear, man. All right. Well, yeah,
Like and
thanks.
subscribe, man. We're gaining some momentum.
Yes.
We're on 160 subs. We want to be at 10,000 next week. See if you can make it happen.
If
I
we
reckon
get
that's gettable.
if we get 10,000 subs, I will streak at the North v Carlton game.
Oh, baby.
Well, there we go.
So
we
will I,
all
man.
we all want to see it.
So will I.
Done. All right.
I want to hug Cripper.
If I was to streak, I think I would go and hug Wardlaw.
Oh, that's fair.
Georgie.
That's fair.
Yeah, Georgie.
I just want to say you're my second favorite Georgie.
Does
That's what
Wardlaw
I'd say.
Does Wardlaw wear high socks?
Nah, he's a short socks black boot man.
Who
Yeah.
in North has long socks?
Don't know if any.
Don't think anyone does.
They're
No.
all pretty cool.
Maybe that's the secret. Just start pulling them up, boys. Come on, man.
That might be it.
You might be able to go and streak and pull up some socks.
Oh, you know, I'll pull up Georgie Wardlaw socks if we get 10,000 subs by next Friday.
Done. It's easy. 10,000. Just all you have to do is click the button.
That's it.
Anyway.
Done.
Look at that.
Leave it at that.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.